A tux-wearing orange Trump told another one of these Sir stories and had some major cognitive gaffes when speaking to the New York Young Republicans Gala, or Gala. I don't really care which way you pronounce it. Both are fine. I've been to 5 galas and 3 galas. Couldn't tell the difference between them. A Trump speaking in New York. And again, very cognitively shaky. Here is Trump arguing that tons of companies are leaving the country under Joe Biden. And his example is ExxonMobil moving from New York to Dallas, leaving the country, moving to Texas. Oh boy. Cognitive fail once again. These are getting really difficult to watch.
Everybody knows she was the one. She sued ExxonMobil in 2019. Letitia James, in a much-watched legal battle. The end result was that Exxon moved out of New York. How do you think that's a good idea? ExxonMobil, one of the biggest companies in the world, left New York and they went to Dallas. Great job, Letitia. And that's what's happening right now. Businesses are fleeing our country. Businesses are leaving this whole horrible system. They're leaving the state. They're leaving our country.
So the one example Trump can come up with of companies bailing on the country is Exxon moving from New York to Texas. It's getting painful to watch. Getting painful to watch. Then Trump went into one of his famous Sir stories. He says that generals said to him the most courageous, the bravest thing they've ever seen was when Trump chalked up his sexual harassment to locker room talk. Generals, that's the bravest thing they've seen. Here's a Sir story. Take a listen to this.
But I went onto that stage just a few days later, and a general, who's a fantastic general, actually said to me, "Sir, I've been on the battlefield. Men have gone down on my left and on my right. I stood on hills where soldiers were killed. But I believe the bravest thing I've ever seen was the night you went onto that stage with Hillary Clinton after what happened. And then that woman asked you the first question about it. And I said, locker room talk. It's locker room talk. What the hell? What are you talking? Locker room talk."
The bravest thing that a general who's been on the battlefield has seen men and women go into combat and lose their lives. The bravest thing that general has ever seen was when Trump chalked up sexual harassment to locker room talk. Does anybody believe this latest Sir story? The multi-time draft dodger saying, when I minimized the sexual harassment I was caught on tape doing. That's the bravest thing a general has ever seen. Trump then talking about the dictator thing. You know why I wanted to be a dictator? To drill and to build the wall. Doubling down, I guess, on his dictatorial wet dream.
Bad. Baker today in the New York Times, he said that I want to be a dictator. I didn't say that. I said I want to be a dictator for one day. But the New York Times said, and you know why I wanted to be a dictator? Because I want a wall, right? I want a wall, and I want to drill, drill, drill. That's true. So, build the wall. Well, we did.
Yeah, the crowd chants build the wall. Trump says he did it. He didn't do it, and Mexico didn't pay for it. So notice that Trump is sort of trying to soften what it means to be a dictator, change the definition. It's not so bad. It's just one day at the end of the day. But what he wants to do is get rid of media outlets he doesn't like, look at the execution or at minimum prosecution of his political enemies, make Christianity a national religion, use the Department of Defense and military to end protests that he doesn't like, skip or terminate the Constitution when it's not useful to him. He said all this stuff. He said all this stuff. You don't have to extrapolate from things he's subtly implying. He said all of it. Last clip from this totally harebrained gong show event. Trump, actually sort of funny, talking about Ron DeSantis's high heels and his bobblehead. Trump every once in a while can be funny, but the danger to comedy ratio is very much in favor of danger. Let's be clear of that.
You know what I love? I love when they say We really want to run against Donald Trump. That's the one we want. How
Yeah.
did they do in 2016, by the way? We want Donald Trump.
Well, how have they done since? Pretty well.
We don't want to run against Ron DeSanctimonious with his high heels and his bobblehead bullshit, you know. Oh, it looks like a bobblehead doll. I don't like him because I endorsed him and, you know, I got him elected. You told me exactly.
Yeah. Trump's not wrong about DeSantis's high heels and bobblehead stuff, but they're both dangerous wannabe autocrat dictators. So Trump's latest speech to the New York Young Republicans Club, very disturbing. Again, continuing to have these dictatorial aspirations, cognitively confused, making up stories in which people call him sir. I would expect all of this to continue, and the pressure building on Trump because of his cognitive gaffes is building, and Trump is now doubling down and insisting that he's doing it on purpose. Let's review that next before we move on to other things. If you sit all day long while you work and you've never tried a desk that can transition between sitting and standing, it really is a game changer. I've had an uplift desk for a while. I use it every day to record the show, prepare for the show, do my office work. I'm sitting at an uplift desk at this very moment, and I've been using uplift desks for many years. We wanted them to be a sponsor, and we finally were able to make it happen. Standing while I work helps me get the creative juices flowing. I feel more productive. I'm focused. I'm more alert. And it's also healthier. I'm just moving around more. My circulation is better, which is just good for your health. I use the uplift standing desks because they don't wobble. Totally stable, even with all of my show equipment on them. The build quality is just tremendous. And you can completely customize the desk by choosing from over 100 desktop choices, hundreds of accessories. I have a whole bunch of them, including a USB hub and a keyboard tray and all sorts of things. They have free shipping, free returns, free return shipping, and an industry-leading 15-year warranty. My audience gets 5% off when you go to upliftdesk.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman5. The link is down below.